All right, guys, so we're gonna have some fun. You see that we obviously have a really cool Pheonix cruiser behind us, hanging out here with Lucy, the dog. This is her coach. She bought this one specifically because if you notice, her fur matches the colors on it. We met John out at Quartzsite.
Yes, we did.
And he was like, hey, I need some help with my RV. Why not come to WeldTech Designs? So you didn't know about us at all before.
No.
And so other than just me hanging out there showing you my craziness.
Well, like I told you, I have a twin, identical twin, who's a super fan of yours. And he goes, oh, there's Jeremy. And we walked over and we started talking, and it makes a lot of sense. We boondock out in Quartzsite in the desert, and I always worry about hitting rocks or whatever.
Yeah.
And I thought,
dragging.
this is perfect, exactly.
Well, I think the big thing is too is what people don't consider. It's not only the boondocking and the off-road, but actually yesterday it was pretty windy. We got to go test drive one, and just how these handle in the wind made a big difference. He was headed through the mountain pass out to Yuma and was like, I can't believe how this drove. Just the difference it made, not getting pushed all over in the wind. And that's a really key thing, guys. I want you to understand that this isn't just about like having it lifted so you can go off-roading, because that's what we men like to do, but it's just about overall driving and how it's going to handle when it just on the highway. We spend 90% of the time on the highway, and that's where you want it to drive nice. Now, of course, having a larger set of tires is always going to be beneficial. So let's jump into what we did on this. There is a bunch, including this killer front bumper. And Lucy's out of here. She's like, I'm done with you, Jeremy. I don't want to hang out with you anymore. I mean, hey, I'm stranger danger. Come on, guys, let's check this thing out. Start out in the front end of this, guys, and this is going to be the first thing that's really going to stand out, is this really nice black grille, eliminating some of the chrome, because as you're going to notice, a lot of the features on most of these RVs, whether it's a Class C, a Pheonix cruiser like this, they don't have a lot of chrome. Why not add a black bumper to it to give you some of that front end protection? This is going to be our pre-runner bumper, so you're going to notice that there is not going to be a hole for a winch. It's just going to keep the bumper really tight to the chassis, and then more importantly, allow you to add some driving lights on there. As you can see, we've added the Lightforce driving lights, and these are a really nice addition to any bumper, whether it be a pre-runner style bumper or our tube winch bumper. Overall, this is going to give you a nice protection. Now, we do offer this bumper in 3 different configurations, being just our normal front bumper without the classic top hoop. You can do the classic top hoop like this. You can actually even go bigger on the classic top hoop, or you can add the grill guard bumper as well, where that's going to give you more front end protection and actually wrap around the headlights and come down. So just want you guys to know there are a lot of options when it comes to the WeldTech Designs bumpers, where we can really configure this to your needs. I mean, that's the key. You know, we're not using this, you're going to be using it, and let's make a bumper that you love. Now we're going to jump into the suspension. As we jump underneath the front of this thing, you're going to notice that we have this 235/85/16 tire. Now that's going to be a lot bigger than stock, but no problem. We're going to have a lot of clearance in the back portion of the wheel well, and as well in the front. You can see now with that pre-runner bumper, there's just all kinds of room up there as well. This is our off-grid lift kit, and you can see we've also added the blacked out hubcaps on the front of this, which is really nice. Now, what does that off-grid lift kit going to consist of? Well, it's going to consist of a few key components. Our bigger coil springs in there, that's going to give us the lift that we need. What's great about these coil springs is it's also going to give us a higher spring rate, which is going to reduce body roll. A lot of times people will tell you, hey, you just need to run a heavier duty sway bar on there. That will work, but it's not really the correct way to do it. At least, hey, that's my 10 cents. Another thing that we did in the front of this is we did add our Fox shocks to that. That's going to control all of the movement. Now, what's really important on this is it's going to have control not only the compression as the shock compresses and your wheel comes up, but also the extension of your wheel as well. And that's really key. A lot of times you get a bumpy car ride. Well, that's because your shock has good compression, but not enough rebound or extension to slow down that shock so that it doesn't come out so fast. And I guess, guys, now is a great time to tell you, if you want to know more about shocks, we're creating a whole new program here at WeldTech Designs called WTDU, where we're going to dive in deeper into each specific product, really giving you the ins and outs of it so that you can understand why each product is really valuable and makes this kit just really unique and awesome. So the next thing that we're going to add on this is these extended radius arms. Now this extended radius arm is going to be 9 inches longer than stock. It's also going to consist of a new bracket. That new bracket allows us to cheat this wheel forward in the wheel well, which is really nice when you want to go to a larger tire like this. That's key to it. It's also going to come with new bushings. So if you have an older RV, that's great because the preventative maintenance side as well. And the last thing to finish this off is going to be that modified I-beam. Not only does that correct the camber, but that's also going to have new bushings in it as well. Gosh, there's a lot of stuff going on there, and I hope I'm not confusing you. If I have, make sure you leave a comment down below. I will be happy to answer any of the questions about this kit and how awesome that it is. We have added sway bar drop brackets in order to drop that sway bar down, keep it consistent with the lift that we put in there. And then the last thing is you poke your head all the way underneath there. You will see we have added that Fox steering stabilizer on there as well. If you have a stock Class C, Class A RV on the F53 chassis, or just a stock Class C, you don't have any suspension packages from us done, you can still run our steering stabilizers on those coach. I will put a link down below to all of them if you have questions. Again, guys, we're here to provide answers that you may have, because all of these products are pretty new to the RV industry. We're stepping it up and giving you a whole nother level of components for your RV. So all of these things are great, but we have one even greater thing. We're gonna head to the back and show you that. We have the 235, 85, 16 tires. Now the reason that we run this size tire on this is because you do have a dually setup. With that dual rear setup, you wanna make sure that your tire isn't too big, that the two tires want to rub together and cause more damage. With this size tire, we found that that works out really nice. It's not gonna create any tire rubbing and lots of clearance. Now, another thing that I want you to consider, and hey, again, if you have a stock RV, you don't have a suspension package on it, keep in mind you can always do our blacked out hubcaps on your stock RV, change up the look of it a little bit and make it, you know, just a little bit more unique. Now, here's another thing, is a lot of times when we get out to go to the desert or even just BLM land, you really want to lower your tire pressure down. You don't want to get stuck, but you also want to give it a little bit softer ride because you're driving off-road. Well, I'm going to deflate my tires and maybe I'm going to bring it down to 35 PSI. Well, having these valve stem extension pieces, you're really able to do that, and that's going to be really nice. You're going to have access to the inner and outer valve stem using this. Again, guys, I'm going to put a link down below, and these products are all on our website. We install them. It makes deflating and inflating your tires really nice. And even if you have your TPMS sensors where it says, hey, silly, your tire is low, you can easily access them, and that is really nice. So we've done our whole progressive leaf spring in the rear of this. We're not using a block or anything to get the height. Now, what's really key to this is that the leaf springs are built out to the weight of your RV. So it's not a one spring fits all. So depending on the weight of your RV, that's going to determine the spring that we use. Now, that's a huge benefit because a lot of you guys talk about how your RV may sit low, you get a lot of what would people consider tail wagging. Well, the majority of that is coming from a spring that is not strong enough to adequately support the weight of your coach, so you get a lot of movement. We've added Fox shocks in the rear of this as well. This is making this whole setup really nice. That's our goal, is to really sell you the meat and potatoes to make your RV comfortable to drive, safe to drive, and really what it comes down to is we talk about our 5 C's. If you want to know more about that, I'm going to throw up a link. You can check out our WeldTech Designs 5 C's. That's what we're all about. If you have a Pheonix Cruiser and you can't sit under it like we're doing, well then maybe you need to come and visit us. But look at all the room that the jack is going to have right here, as well as your black and gray water tank. A lot of times all these components sit really low to the ground, and I've even seen them torn off, making your day just crappy.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
As I jump under this thing, you can see I got all kinds of room. I mean, how many people can lay underneath their Pheonix Cruiser? So this is another thing that I see get put on a lot of RVs, these roller wheels, because as you go into a ditch, it wants to drag. Now, that's great and all, but what you've really done now is you've lowered it down by another 3 inches. So if you didn't have these wheels on here, you'd have 3 more inches of clearance. That would be great, you know, more clearance. Now the bigger issue though is if you look under here, you're going to see that the frame actually stops about 15 inches in from the end, right? So what we see on a lot of these where they drag a lot is this whole rear portion of the frame starts to bend. Now granted, on bigger Class C RVs, you're gonna have this piece that's only 15 inches on this Pheonix Cruiser, could be 2, 3, and 4 feet long on the bigger RVs, and it actually starts to twist the whole frame and bend up more towards the front. I've even seen them so bad that the door then becomes difficult to open. So something that I want you guys to consider, I'm here to educate you guys and teach you. I mean, yes, it sounds like a great idea. Oh, my wheels are gonna drag and rub, so I'm not gonna get stuck, but I don't think that it's a wise idea. I'd rather have the additional room in here because nothing now, this is the lowest point on here. So of course, with a suspension package from Weldtech Designs, like there's no way that this is ever going to rub, but I just want you to know the pros and definitely a lot of the cons in putting these roller wheels on your coach. That was a ton of fun. A lot of information in this video as well as some really cool products, but the products are only, you know, I mean, they're not as cool as the whole package put together. So this is a Pheonix Cruiser, just in case I didn't say that enough. So front bumper, this is our pre-runner bumper with a classic top hoop. We added the Lightforce lights. This is the off-grid suspension package in the front and the rear as well, with 235/85/16, some hubcaps and valve stem adapters, not adapters. So I hope that you guys learned something, maybe found this a little bit educational and even more entertaining. Thanks so much for hanging out with me here. I guess I'm gonna give the keys back. They wanna leave, they're out of here. They're done, heading back to Arizona. So that's all I got. I'm Jeremy from Weldtech Designs. I'll see you guys. Smash that subscribe button, smash it. See you in the next video.